My name is Shayna Abraham, and I'm going to be discussing Week 3's case study, New Protocol, How Drugs Rebirth Treatment for Cancer-Fueled Price Rises. In this presentation, I will be analyzing the case study, New Protocol, How Drugs Rebirth as Treatment for Cancer-Fueled Price Rises. So in this case study, it takes a look at a pharmaceutical company that previously launched a drug called thalidomide in 1998 to help patients with leprosy and weight loss due to AIDS. And this drug was relaunched in order to help patients struggling with cancer. So the dilemma with this case study is that originally when the drug was made to help with AIDS, it was sold at a reasonable cost. And it was mainly due to the AIDS activists and not to be on their bad side. But after the drug was relaunched to help patients with cancer, the price has increased drastically up to 5 times the original price. And this is mainly due to the less likeliness to have to deal with negative publicity due to increasing prices for cancer-related treatment. So in this case study, it really goes into talking about the thalidomide drug and how its price structure really changed once it started to become a cancer drug. So after being used to treat cancer, the price of the drug had increased drastically. So in the case of fatal diseases and terminal diseases, the prices are usually very high. Companies usually invest tons of money for the research and development of different techniques to treat such terminal diseases such as cancer. So the prices placed on the cancer treatment can be seen as, reasonable or justifiable. But in this case, we are talking about a drug that was initially only $6 and went up to $29. So that's a huge difference. It's also quite interesting to note that the same exact drug is sold in Brazil in a government laboratory for just 7 cents. And 7 cents is a very big difference compared to $29. So yes, it is important to invest in research and development, but when there's such a huge difference like this, it becomes very obvious that it's not just about that, but more so for profit. These companies are doing very huge businesses and generating large revenue streams. And these private companies want to remain competitive with these other companies, so they take investing in research and development very seriously. But I think that there should be a check and balance to price control, because the government is responsible for the end user as well. John Locke is an English philosopher who was one of the first philosophers to speak on private property. He believed that initially everything on earth was owned to mankind in common. He also believed that in terms of labor, it's different, and that once someone starts doing labor on a public property, he can then own that property. He also believed that once people have their own property, they trade it when they feel that they can fulfill their needs. So when applying this concept onto the thalidomide drug situation, the drug is owned by the company that produced it. So the company has a right to set a certain price on it and to set the tone and the rules and regulations that they want the company to follow. So this is a very capitalistic approach, as they are mainly looking for the benefit in profit, and while they set the rules and regulations that the company needs to abide by. Andrew Carnegie was a great philanthropist who believed that those who generated surplus wealth were obligated to help those in need. He also believed that society had a greater say on what one should do with their lives comparatively to one's own kin. So when applying this concept to the thalidomide drug case situation, we can definitely say that the company was profiting and charging way too much. The drastic change in prices is actually very alarming because it's just, quite frankly, not affordable to the common man. And I think that it's important to take into consideration the situation of the common consumer or the common buyer when it comes to treatments like this, because a lot of people, they do not take treatment solely because of the reason of not being able to afford the treatment. So as a company, I think that it's important to take that into consideration rather than only worrying about benefiting from the profit. I agree with the stance of Carnegie because I believe that companies should want to carry out the social corporate responsibility to want to take care of others and the welfare of society. A genuine company would never overcharge their consumers because that's taking advantage of them. So a genuine company would charge their consumers at a reasonable rate that would benefit them as well as the company in a healthy way rather than a one-sided way. So I think that the government should also be strictly involved and be strict on the checks and balances on these companies to make sure that they are making adequate profits and carrying out their social responsibilities. I also think that it's important that, people use their voice and speak out their truth and their concerns. And I think that the more that you do that, the more that the companies will be aware and start to actually abide by the rules and regulations, because that's what their consumers need and that's what they are protesting about. So that's just my personal insight on week 3's case study. And thank you so much.